The final installment of this 4-night run with Mr. Brooks, and we talk about High Anxiety and Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein.
Don't miss it, we're naked. Tell them.
Tell them
on we are naked on the next show.
We are naked.
We are naked on the next show.
All right, smartass, what do we do now?
Well, look, we said we'd be naked, and we're true to our word. I mean, they expected it. They knew, you know, that we weren't kidding, so let's reveal ourselves. Come on. Reveal, 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 reveal. Ah, you're wearing pants.
Yeah.
So am I. I'm wearing pants because NBC wanted, the censors are just outside the door in the toilet. They're always in the toilet. And they wanted, they hang around in the toilet. And they wanted to see our bodies, and they saw us totally nude, and they said, Brooks is awesome, we can't permit this on the air. So, why don't we cut to a clip from Life Stinks, huh?
Now, speaking of highbrow comedy concepts...
Excuse me. Oh, okay, well.
Yeah. Sitting around the... Does that make for a good handkerchief?
It helps the suit, stiffen the suit. The lapels get a little droopy.
Yeah.
And once in a while, if you get some material, let's say, from your nose, and just brush it against the lapel, it will starch it, stand out.
So we're in exactly the right frame of mind.
Yes.
To get to the campfire scene in Blazing Saddles. Whose idea?
It would be immodest of me to say. So it was probably mine, but no. There were a lot of writers. We had a lot of writers. The original concept story was called Tex X. It was created by Andrew Bergman. I was walking in the street, looking down at the gutter, hoping to find some change. David Bigelman, a very famous producer, head of a studio, was then, he and Freddie Fields were running an agency called CMA, Creative Management Associates, which is an offshoot of MCA that had just broken up because of the antitrust laws. So they became the agency, and MCA became Universal Pictures and the music. David says, why are you looking in the gutter? I say, change. He says, come. Takes me to lunch. What are you doing? 12 Chairs didn't do that kind of business. I'm looking for work. He says, I found something for you. It's called Tex X. I want you to read it. David Brown and Dick Zanuck had the property at that time for Warner Brothers. I read Tex X. I said, this is funny. This idea of a black sheriff talking now in 1874 in the West and just juxtaposing those cliches would be wonderful. I said, this is funny. 6 months later, we have a thing called then Black Bart. No, we went through so many titles. One was the Purple Sage, you know, Black West Sheriff. One was Black Bart was good because of the Western enemy, the villain. But then one day I said, it's Blazing Saddles. They said, well, why? It's crazy. Saddles on fire. I said, it is because it is crazy. This is a crazy Western. This is a crazy title. It tells all. It's Blazing Saddles. They caved in. It was Blazing Saddles. I said to Warner Brothers, I got the black guy. His name is Richard Pryor. He's one of our writers. He's a stand-up comic. He's brilliant. This was in 1973. Pryor had not yet become the #1 black comedian in America.
But he was certainly known.
He was well known in the comedy circuit, you know, but he hadn't made movies yet. Warner Brothers said no. So I searched for a long time. I found Cleavon Little, who's very good. He's terrific in the movie, and I was very lucky to get him. And we left New York. We used to work until 1 o'clock in the morning, go to Chinatown, rewrite in Chinatown. We had a wonderful time doing it. Went out here with Mike Hertzberg, who was the producer of the movie. Hertzberg was my producer of 12 Chairs in Yugoslavia, so we were good friends, nice continuity. Went to Warner Brothers, made the movie, made a very, I thought, a very funny movie. First screening of the movie with all the executives. It was just finished. First fine cut with credits. 20 executives and 1 Jew sitting, watching. We're watching the movie. Hertzberg is there with 2 Jews watching. We see movie. No laughs. How about, he says, how about a nice old work song. They said, okay, that has to go. I said, well, that's what the movie's about. It's making fun of race. That has to go. And then when he starts saying, I get no kick from shrimp, nice, no laughs, right? Come to the farting scene, that has to go, right? All right, so we finished this thing, and it was at the worst screening of my life. Everybody, Ted Ashley, John Calley, all these guys are running Warner Brothers. Sorry, can't have it. Sitting there stupefied. I thought it was funny. Everybody used to come into the cutting room and laugh. What happened? Why is nobody answering me? I'm all alone. Talking to myself, that's why. All right, Mike, he comes over, and now I'm talking to another Jew. Things are good again. Mike, what do we do? He says, let's have a screening for secretaries, for human beings, not for executives. Okay, get room 12 at Warner Brothers. We get 200 people in. It's a laugh from the WB of Warner Brothers in flames, and Frankie Lane with whip crack singing, he wore a blazing shadow. I mean, laughing, non-stop screaming, yelling, the farting thing, forget it. People running up and down the aisles. Heaven, I'm in heaven. It's an Irving Berlin song, right? I'm just delighted. We take the movie to the AFCO embassy in Westwood, which is a very big theater here in Westwood in Los Angeles. 1,100 people, they go bananas. They go crazy from the movie. Ted Ashley catches me in the lobby. He's running Warner Brothers. He was a big agent. He used to be my agent. Now he's running Warner Brothers. A man to be feared and respected. Smart man. He says to me, farting scene out. I have a little pad. I say, farting scene is out. You got it. Punching the horse. Punching the horse. Punching the horse is out. You got it. He says, the Lily von Stupp with the black sheriff and the thing with the bedroom, with the thing about the Farfenschnugger, that's out. I said, the Farfenschnugger, out. 10 things I kept saying, you're right. Absolutely. You got it. It's out. I go back to Warner Brothers. They say, what's out? I say, nothing is out. That's the movie. We issue the movie. A year later, he says to me, it's the greatest movie we ever made. I said, what about the things you wanted out? Who wanted out? What? What are you talking about? So that's the best way to treat movie executives. Just agree with them and don't do it.
But there was one thing they had to take out, though, right? Because Madeline Kahn, as Lily von Stupp, was going into, is it true what they say about you people, as she makes her move on the sheriff, on Cleavon Little. And the lights go out.
Yes.
And she exclaims, oh, it's true, it's true.
Yes, and
he has a rejoinder.
Yes, he said, you're sucking my arm. That's what he said. And they said, look, there's no rating that can cover this. We haven't got a rating that can cover it. We'd be glad to get an X. Glad to take an X, but it's beyond. They want to give us a Z for that, you know. I said, all right, lose that one line, you know.
Is it true what they say about the way you people are gifted? Oh, it's true. It's true.
Did Hitchcock like High Anxiety? Which is more or less a tribute to him.
Hitchcock was a great man. He was really a great man. He was truly a legendary film director. He knew what he was doing and he did it well. When I wrote High Anxiety, I sent it over to him. And I said, you don't even have to read this. I don't want to bother you. You know, you're an idol of mine. He read it and he said, I love it. Why don't you come over and visit me, have lunch with me? I said, my God, we're going to actually see Hitchcock. So I went over with another guy, sat there, talked to him for a while, and he was awe-inspiring. He told us, lady vanishes. Hitchcock says, lady vanishes. He had to have a shot of a train going one way, then a shot of the train going the other way. He painted the letters backwards and moved the camera the other way. So he was an amazing genius, because it all had to be done on a soundstage.
he had a great sense of humor in his work. There were always these little subtle jokes that he was throwing in amidst all the tension and the drama. Your stuff was, you know...
He loved comedy.
A bird, in The Birds, pigeons are crapping on you, and Barry Levinson is beating you up with a newspaper, like we said earlier, and so that the ink comes off in the shower and swirls down the drain instead of Janet Leigh's blood. He liked that stuff, right?
He loved it. And he loved personal physical humor. When we got up to go to his little dining room at his bungalow at Universal Studios, we got up and his knees, he was arthritic, his knees were arthritic. He had some trouble walking to the door and getting through the door. And I was right behind him, and with my thigh, I kicked him in the ass. I did. I said, "Come on, Al, move it. For sake, people are hungry. Jews have to eat here." Well, he got you didn't know. I don't know when he threw me out. He got hysterical. He was hysterical. He loved it. It was hilarious, you know. He said, "Nobody ever treats me like a person, you know. They never treat me, you know." And he saw the movie, and he didn't say a word when I finished the movie. This was 6 months later. Finished the movie. He saw the movie, and I called him, and I couldn't reach him. I said, "My God, I don't know if he likes it or what." The next day, he knows I'm a wine connoisseur. I like wine, and he's one of the great legendary wine connoisseurs. He sent me a case of a very great French wine, Chateau Haut-Briand, 1961 Magnums. I mean, and he said, "This is my measure of esteem for your film." I mean, and it couldn't have been a more touching compliment than that case of Haut-Briand.
Hot two, ziggity bing bong boom, hot two. Hot two, ziggity bing bong boom, hot two.
Life Stinks. Mostly comedic, but I guess there's a dramatic undertone, the relationship between you and the character played by Leslie Ann Warren. Are you a little bit concerned maybe that some people will think, because of all the laughs in it, he's making light of the plight of the homeless?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's... I'm natural prey vis-a-vis that kind of criticism, you know. It's grist for their mill. However, what I've been trying to do is to do what MASH did, was to show the blood peripherally, obliquely, and play the plight of this billionaire with the homeless in a high comic vein, you know, with great comic spirit. And I feel that there's enough reality, there's enough texture in the movie that speaks to the plight of the homeless, without having to get on a soapbox and lecture.
Just for those who haven't seen it or heard about it at this point, there are these two very wealthy guys, big entrepreneurs, they're rivals. They make a bet. You want to show how tough you are, and you believe that you could survive in this slum situation, peopled by drug addicts and homeless people and whatnot. You bet your rival you could do that for a month.
Right.
And if you do it, then he'll let you develop all that land. If not, he takes it. That's the bet. And they put a beeper to your ankle so that you can't leave, and you got to survive. No credit cards, no money, by your own wits, your own resourcefulness in that environment. And at first you're revolted by it and frightened by it, and then eventually you become part of it and you have an affinity for the people.
Yeah, and
people there.
My eyes begin to be peeled, and I begin to see that these are not just statistics or numbers or garbage, but they're people. They're human beings. And I'm rescued by Leslie Ann Warren, who plays this wonderful bag lady. With a great deal of feistiness and vivacity and comedy, and she's wonderful, and she dances like a dream in it. I mean, it's in every Mel Brooks movie. I like to do one number, quote number, and in this movie, I felt that the number was, kind of a divine part of the fable, part of the make-believe. It was great to do.
So people say about you, people who know you well, that you're not just a bright guy, but that you're an extremely intelligent guy. And a well-educated guy in your own way.
Well-educated with water dripping down my chin?
Well, it's all a ruse on your part, I guess.
Yes.
But
a Charlotte ruse.
But apparently it's the broad stuff that you see as your best area.
And yet I am the founder, the creator, if you will, of Brooks Films. I love the broad stuff, right? And yet, I create a company so that I can make a movie called The Elephant Man, and Francis, and My Favorite Year, and 84 Charing Cross Road, and recently The Fly with Jeff Goldblum. I mean,
as a producer or executive producer with films like that, how much do you get involved
very
in the way they're put together?
sensational. I got very involved with Elephant Man. Elephant Man was my life. I mean, it was 7 months of my life. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take credit for this because David Lynch will admit it, and Christopher DeVore and Eric Bergeron, who wrote it, we were working one night really late. I mean, it was after 1 in the morning, trying to solve the ending because the Treves book, this is an account of the doctor who literally took care of the elephant. The original ending of the book is where the Elephant Man is allowed by Queen Victoria to actually live in London Hospital, and no other incurables were allowed. And that was kind of a nice, but I thought very bland ending to a magnificent film, magnificent script. So I went out, I walked around the halls, it was very late, I came back, and I was crying, and I said, I got it, I got it. They said, what are you talking about? I said, I got it. He's Pinocchio, the Elephant Man. Just think of Pinocchio. He's Pinocchio. His owner steals him again, like in Pinocchio, takes him to a freak show, makes him the freak that he is, that the owner is making money out of. The other freaks know that there's something special here. They help him escape. He gets back to England. We have Act 3, I Am Not an Animal. Dr. Treves, they kissed her. And I said, that's an ending. I said, that's a theatrical, thrilling, but thematic ending. And they said, yes. And we continued, you know, to write it that way.
Since you've owned the whole week, we might as well give you the good night.
It was great. I loved being here. I was sensationally funny. You were adequate. We were good. We were really good together. I mean, I thought it worked out sensationally. I'd just like to say good night to all my friends in every language. In Buenas noches, bien dormi, ich will sehen später, take care, and I'll see you in the car.